All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's Dr. Dan Ritchie, president of the Functional Aging Institute, and I'm joined by Deborah Glassford and Liz Cohen today. And they're going to be talking about the new course that we've just released that they authored, Health Coaching, Riding the Aging Wave. Now, if you're not familiar with them, I'm going to give you guys a short introduction here because if we really went through your whole bio, we'd be here for 10 minutes. So they've been in the fitness industry for a little while. So Deborah actually put it on her bio on the page that she began in 1985. Her career included managing corporate fitness centers for GE and Verizon, commercial health clubs in Westchester County, New York area. And since 92, she's been an American Council on Exercise certified personal trainer. Lots and lots of background that Deborah has in the industry, including a bachelor's of arts in psychology, a master's in exercise physiology, and so many additional certifications. I'm not going to go through them, except the fact that she is a cancer exercise specialist. That's kind of near and dear to our heart since we love Andrea Leonard and all of her work. Liz Cohen, I'm not sure if she's been around since 1985. She doesn't list that. So Liz has been an American Council on Exercise certified trainer since 2006 and a certified health coach as of 2018. She has a bachelor's of science in hospitality management, and she attended Tufts University School of Nutrition, where she, I believe, has a graduate certificate. She's also certified by the Johnson & Johnson Human Performance Institute. So the two of these two experts bring a wealth of background, expertise, knowledge to this topic. And I'm excited to add health coaching to the realm of Functional Aging Institute because this is something we've kind of been longing for quite a while, because not only do we train clients, but obviously we wind up dealing with all aspects of their health, their lifestyle, and their aging across decades. So I'm going to turn it over to you two. I will get out of the way. I will be here if somebody interrupts with a question because you dropped some psychology term nobody understands. I'll chime in. Otherwise, I'll be back for live Q&A at the end, and we'll pepper you two with questions then. So please take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Liz, and I'm joined by my court, Deborah, and we are so thrilled to be here. And thank you, Dan, for having us. We are, as Dan mentioned, super excited to bring health coaching to the FAI community. And I wanted to share why we are calling this health coaching riding in the aging wave. So John Kabat-Zinn is a doctor, scientist, and meditation teacher, internationally known for his work in bringing mindfulness practices to the mainstream. And he has this phrase, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. And that's why we are calling this session and our course, Health Coaching, Riding the Aging Wave, because we're going to cover health coaching tools you can use to help your clients stay on their fitness paths through life's events and transitions over their aging decades. This is what our bios look like, and we'll move right along to another fantastic quote by Robert Neal Butler, who is an American physician, gerontologist, psychiatrist, and author. And he was actually the first director of the National Institute on Aging. And he said if exercise could be packed in a pill, it'd be the most prescribed and beneficial medicine in the nation. And I bring this up because it's important for us to help our clients stay on their fitness path, but knowing much more about human behavior and health behavioral changes can really help us as fitness professionals support our clients along their journey. So, Deb, you're going to...
Hello, everyone. Deb Glassford here. So for today, our goal is to share the concepts around health coaching with the aging decades. In doing so, there's a few things we want you to get out of this little webinar. First, we want to increase the connection with your clients. Now more than ever, as we all navigate through the new worlds of virtual and in-person training. Number two, we want to expand the support for your clients beyond the physical. We use health coaching, behavioral change concepts, and that will enhance your connection to your clients. This will add help you develop a value-add service You can show your clients that you can guide them without being in person by asking more in-depth questions. And of course, being in person, these tools are very helpful. These health coaching methodologies are crucial. Most importantly, we hope that this information helps your clients stay on their fitness paths. COVID-19 impacts are vast, including reducing motivation from being home and isolated. Couple that with some irregular nutrition behavior, and a lot of health and fitness goals have gone awry. Even the current guidelines, you still have to wear a mask in a fitness center. Many people are feeling very discomfited by that. So we need to help them, guide them through their journeys. So as we talk about health coaching, we'll share how you can adjust these concepts based on the age of your clients. So we have organized the materials to represent differences between two groups. We define middle age as 50 to 70 years and older age as 70 to 80 plus. We are making some generalities because we all know there are those exceptions to the rule. There are some that are super fit, active, and really involved throughout many, many decades. But through personal experiences with our clients and the research, we were able to find commonalities that can help us have a starting point so that we can develop these effective ways to support these clients. Some of us may have met a client at 40 years and you have a training relationship for, they're now 60, and you notice the changing mindset and of course, the physical changes. Then, using your own personal individual connections and the health coaching concepts we discuss, we can adjust as needed.
All right, so we're going to get started, and Deb and I are going to cover a few commonalities across the decades. So people in their 50s, they begin to need a break or a change in work, or they may need to adjust at-home lifestyle as kids grow up, grow out, maybe they return. Physically, hormones shift with the reduction of estrogen and testosterone and all that comes with all those changes. And then the dreaded readers. People, including myself, were in denial, and they strain their eyes, and that leads to headaches and excuses for missing workouts. Also, health screenings become more important, and additionally, ones like the colonoscopies and the bone densities, for example, are ones that people in their 50s have to start dealing with.
Then we move on to those glorious 60s. And most people in this demographic are typically in a position to experience either forced retirement or they may choose to retire. This very often leads to some confusion and self-doubt, which we all know contributes to missing exercise sessions, schedules go awry, and the nutrition, we can potentially have some poor eating habits. Simultaneously, as the home lifestyle continues to evolve, schedules get affected, home routines are affected. Add to this the physical changes to muscle and bone. We have an increased risk of injury. Balance becomes an issue. So it becomes real important during this decade to remind clients that through exercise, we can slow that aging process and continue to improve our quality of life.
Now, according to a study on the science of happiness, people in their 70s are the happiest and feel the freest. Most often it's because they are not working full-time jobs, they have much more perspective just on life, and they know where they want to spend their time. They want to spend their time with people they love, doing things that are important to them, and giving back to their communities. However, because of physiological changes to the body, they can become more easily fatigued and begin to have concerns related to balance. So through health coaching, you can encourage your clients through really good questions about what they're eating, what they're doing, and you can help them to get outside. Often they get more fatigued than they're used to, and you know, they're like, where did this come from? I'm used to being able to do everything, but things catch up. And often with fatigue, getting outside and moving around is much helpful, especially also staying hydrated. And then balance. This is where you can use all the amazing balance programs that you've learned from FAI and other resources to make it a primary focus. It's important for everyone, but as you get into the 70s, really focusing on balance even more is very important.
And then we get into the demographic of 80 and above. Now, these individuals really need the encouragement to keep going, stay the course, be active so that they can continue to enjoy and have an impact in their lives. The euphemism, move it or lose it, is never more apparent than in this decade. Number 2, guidance to do it safely becomes almost critical. Often their thoughts are in the past. They need some prompting to live in the moment. They remember the good times. They remember all they did, though they can never remember what they did yesterday. With the health coaching lens, it's important to be patient, to listen, let them repeat themselves, and steer them forward. Physically, as they inevitably adopt a more sedentary lifestyle, we see postural and gait changes, and this requires attention. A lot of times the ability to perform functional daily activities will deteriorate if they do not pursue and maintain some form of exercise regimen. There also is an increased risk of falling, whether it's admitted or not, comes to the forefront. It can significantly affect one's choices and then ultimately result in less activity, less acceptance of social engagements, and isolation beyond COVID will deepen. And we as personal trainers, coaches, anybody who's working with this age group can use these mindfulness techniques of health coaching and overcome this with balance, strength training, breathing exercises, etc.
All right, well, with that perspective, that's kind of a baseline of the course. We want to talk about, what it takes to have a little bit of a health coaching mindset. So there is so much to talk about in this space, and with the time that we have on the webinar, we selected a few concepts that we wanted to share and that you'll be able to take away and use. And what we'll talk about is what is health coaching. We'll share some tools that health coaches use. We'll also talk about the power of the breath and being present and why it's so important as fitness professionals to really listen and be fully present with our clients. And then we'll close with a discussion on some physiological impacts on fitness goals through the aging decade. So we're going to jump right in and talk about what health coaching is and how it's a bit different from personal training. So one of the main differences that I noticed, being both a personal trainer and a health coach, is that training is much more directive, and then often we're prescribing exercise modalities and we are the experts. When you're shifting your health coaching mindset to more of a health coaching mindset, you are allowing the client to be the expert and empower them with their decisions. So a health coach is a wellness mentor, and we listen to a client's concerns with compassion, and we ask powerful questions that help the clients realize the areas of health they want to focus on or need. We then guide clients through a goal-setting process, really allowing, again, the client to come up with their own goals and helping them develop reasonable paths to reach those goals successfully. And the goals are often related to behavioral changes related to sleep and stress reduction and nutrition and exercise and much more. It provides your clients with a process to self-discover, and it guides them to sustained lifestyle changes, which are going to be unique to each individual. So with health coaching, it's about listening, it's about motivating, and it's about being an accountability partner. So the best way to listen is to ask questions that invite a client to share their thoughts. A powerful way to do this is through open-ended questions. An open-ended question is designed to encourage a full, meaningful, and deliberate answer using the client's own knowledge and feelings. When asking open-ended questions, you want to pause and make sure they're framed in a way that elicits thought, time, and a response that will help your client self-discover. You want to use words like what, how, describe, tell me. So here's an example. Describe to me how your life would be different if you had more energy every day. This is a self-awareness evoking question. Notice it cannot be answered with one word or yes or no. It probably requires some silence on our part and allowing the client time to think. So allow that time. Now, another example is share with me some of your successes from this week. What were the wins, no matter how big or small? And this is also an open-ended question, but this is accentuating the positive. This positive psychology is very much in the forefront in health coaching. And you want your clients to really take a pause, give them silence, to allow them to think, like, you know, their week might have felt like it really went bad, but if you give them a moment, you ask them that question in a positive way, they might, in most cases, find something like, oh yeah, you know, I did have some good things that happened.
Now, coupled with what Liz was speaking about, sometimes the open-ended questions and the active listening are very helpful with our individual day-to-day sessions that we have with our clients. It can help identify if they're experiencing physical things like headache, nausea, maybe dizziness, or if they're preoccupied with some event that's happening in their world. And to illustrate, I had a recent experience that happened in a private in-home exercise session. Marilyn is 80. She had an injection in her right knee about a year and a half ago that went into infection. She couldn't drive for a year. She used a walker. She could barely walk up outside at all. She got clearance in January to resume her exercise program. So we started working together again. Now I have known her and I'm aware of her health history, got caught up on all of that. And her doctor said it was critical that she get her cardiovascular and cardiorespiratory systems, you know, working. So we got about 10 minutes into our session using doing some light step work. And all of a sudden she felt that she had to sit down. I paused and put on my health coaching mindset. And the conversation went a little bit like this. Marilyn, wow, let's take a few minutes. Can you describe how you're feeling? There's that open-ended question. And she responded, I feel lightheaded and just a little bit dizzy. Okay, so you feel dizzy. I'm just gonna check your heart rate. Let me just take a quick check here on your wrist. I gave her a chance to reflect and restated that she felt dizzy and lightheaded. So I asked her, what did you have for breakfast this morning? She said, actually, I had some oatmeal, walnuts with raisins. And I think I purposely ate about 2 hours before you came. That sounds really delicious and nutritious, Marilyn. So that's perfect for your energy needs. I'm glad you had a nice breakfast, but let's check that blood pressure. Took out my cuff, quick check. Her systolic, the top number, was slightly elevated, but it should be when you are doing that kind of exercise for at least 10 minutes. So I asked her, besides having breakfast, can you tell me what else you did this morning? She thought, I gave her time to self-reflect. She came to some conclusions. She goes, oh yeah. I took my blood pressure medication right after I ate. I said, all right, great, good. So you took it already. It's lisinopril, right? She replied, oh yes. Oh gosh, but you know what? I forgot to mention. My doctor added a diuretic 2 weeks ago, and I didn't remember that if I took it yesterday, so I took double the dose this morning. Well, right then a light bulb went off and I knew why she was feeling lightheaded and dizzy. Got a glass of water, encouraged her to sit for a few minutes, and I explained what happens when you take diuretics and how she was probably on borderline dehydrated. And then I just said, okay, tell me how you're feeling now. Again, gives her time to self-reflect. She says, oh, I'm feeling much better. Dizziness has subsided. Thanks for the water. And I said, you know, your body does know what it needs. Now, what do you think about moving forward for today? I wanted to empower her to feel comfortable with doing anything or steer the direction of what she would like to do. She gave it some thought and requested some light stretching and exercises that involved less moving. She made the decision. She was empowered to be the expert, and we were able to continue and finish the session, and she was fine. Everything passed and she was fine. So there you go, open-ended questions.
Thanks, Deb. That is just an excellent example of the power of open-ended questions, having the health coaching mindset, allowing for silence, reflecting. Deb did all the great things that health coaching mindsets do. And by doing that, it allowed her to have, the power, Marilyn to have the power to reflect and respond and be in control. So you want to allow your clients to have that time to process and respond. And it may be our natural tendency when we're asking a question, and I want everyone to be honest with themselves and think about this. When you ask a question, do you tend to add words, clarify, try to pull an answer out by just keep talking over the client? That's a very natural thing that happens, and that's what having a health coaching mindset allows us to do, is to not do those things, is to ask a very succinct, open-ended question, and then pausing and allowing silence. Just stop talking, allow the quiet. And then when they are responding, you don't want to formulate responses. That's another very natural-minded thing to do. We're constantly talking to someone and our brain is, firing off like connections. Oh yeah, I remember, I want to tell a story about what I did connected to that. That's a very normal thing. And when you're doing that and you're hanging out with friends, that's okay. But when you're working with clients and you're in the health coaching mindset, you really want to make it that you're listening completely to what they're saying. And if you have something that you want to bring back up and you don't think you remember it, just have a paper and pen near you and you can jot it down. Again, silence is important, silence is good, and continuing asking open-ended questions as they respond is important. And when Deborah reflected back to restate what Marilyn was talking about, that's important because it also helps the client hear what they said. Oftentimes, we'll, as a client or ourselves, we'll say something, we don't necessarily always hear what we're saying. When someone is able to restate it back to us, it allows us to confirm whether our impression and what we were trying to get out there was said correctly. And especially as trainers and health coaches and any fitness professional, we want to make sure we're hearing our clients and that what the client is saying to us, the communication, is as forward as possible. So really, we're here to change the approach from prescribing, as we're used to as personal trainers, to having the client come up with their own responses, their own ideas, plans, and goals.
So there you have it. As Liz has said, the client will lead the goal-setting process. But when setting goals, and this I know is a review for many of us, I know I read it in 1982 or whatever in my Psychology 101 textbook, but it goes through all coaching modalities. And when setting goals, we follow the SMART process. We know that SMART stands for goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bounded. Now, a quick example, of course, something outrageous might be, I need to lose 100 pounds by my daughter's wedding in 6 months. Now, we all know that if we look at the goal-setting parameters, this would not be something we would encourage. We would instead steer them to be more specific. I have a wedding in 6 months. Okay, let's see. We have 1 to 2 pounds a week, and then we can help them steer them into making a better choice for their fitness programming. Now, once those goals have been set, and a very significant component to health coaching is being an accountability partner. Now, and then as a team, we begin to plan the criteria for how you can do that. So of course, setting up weekly touch points is so helpful. And I know most of us do that if you see a client twice a week, once a week, but oftentimes, speaking from experience, I know you all have had this happen. Who travels, who got sick, whose child's got sick, so they miss a week. But that little touching in can really help them stay on the path. It can be as simple as a text. And of course, we always want to remember to stay encouraging and motivating. Even resisting the urge, I know we've all had it where you kind of want to roll your eyes and go. But it's very important to celebrate those small successes, and that will help to encourage them to continue to move forward. Setbacks are part of the process. No one is perfect, but progress does take time. So there again, reinforcing any small success really needs to be acknowledged and celebrated. We want to remind those clients to go back to the why. You know, well, you want to be a little leaner at your daughter's wedding. You want to wear this certain dress. So let's just get back on track, you know, that kind of thing, etc. We want, and as needed, we can reset and adjust goals accordingly. So with all of these various thoughts in mind, let's share an example of how we approach middle age and older age differences in the health coaching, this Riding the Age Wave course. We look at being a wellness mentor. When you are working with people in the middle age range, and as a reminder, that group is 50 to 70 years, your mentoring will need to consider a few things. Firstly, that they have less time to focus on themselves. They often have more responsibilities with families, they're parenting children, they're parenting parents, and they are even parenting pets. They're usually still working, very active in their careers. They may travel for business. They may be part of a social community that requires volunteer activities and then extra work outside of the home. They may have large social circles, and for them, those social circles may be very important, so they do make them a priority. Their time is just not always their own. And these external factors all contribute to an increased stress level. They often need guidance and coaching to focus on managing this stress. And of course, let's take it another step further. The sleep issues that arrive in this demographic is very significant, and it affects everything. And we all know consistency and exercise helps with all of this, but they may need some of these tools, the encouraging mindfulness, being accountable, and health coaching provides other things in the toolbox. We can even do breathing exercises. Now, the older age group, which again we categorized as 70 to 80 plus, and of course there are always exceptions. Now, this group has less daily demands on their time. Largely, families have moved on, hopefully. There's always exceptions once again. Their work responsibilities may have lessened or even ceased at this point. There's a natural decrease in social support. In essence, they can put more time into themselves and their health. So as we develop that accountability partner relationship, that becomes very important for them and something they choose and really look forward to having. There could be an uptick in stress due to physical limitations and medical issues on top of this less social support. We all know that can lead to bouts of being in a slightly depressive state. What happens? Lack of motivation. So they really will need the additional outreach, the wellness mentoring, once we have developed and adjusted some goals that they've set for themselves. Hormonal changes continue. They go on till the very end. There may be increased naps during the day, the less social activity, they're having issues, again, with sleep. And throughout the course, as we talk about these different topics, we add the lens of this aging wave. there are differences in how to best guide these clients.
Thanks, Deb. All right. So we're also going to cover our next topic, health coaching tools. And there are several health coaching tools, many concepts out there in behavioral change. We picked a few that we wanted to let you know were out there, and then we're going to talk about one of them for this session. We're doing another recorded event for the summit coming up, so we'll have a lot more information in that one as well. So a DISC model is about client's personality. And DISC allows us to understand and get to know our client better to better communicate. So it is something that we talk about in the course in more detail, of course, but it's something we wanted to let you know is out there, because as you're working with your clients, the more you can understand whether they're someone that you want to talk more directly to, or someone that's more social and you want to leave time for conversation. If you can get an idea of what kind of personality your client is, you can change up your approach as you're working with each one of them. The elephant, the rider, and the path is this amazing, wonderful concept where we focus on understanding three parts. The elephant, which is the emotion, that's the heart of somebody, and it's usually this big giant part that gets in the way often of people accomplishing their goals. And that's partly because the rider, which is our rational part, is a little bit smaller. And a lot of times our emotions kind of move us in a path that may not be as logical or rational to actually get to the end of the goal. So the path is where, as health coaches, we help our clients really understand what's driving the emotion, really understand what the rational part, the rider, why do they want to do this? And then we help them find their path. So I know I'm going over a very high level, and we do go over a lot more of it in the full course, but it's something you can take a look at. It's a way of approaching clients with their goal setting. Another topic in health coaching toolbox is the decisional balance and self-efficacy. And these are two factors we use when clients are trying to determine parts of what's going on in their lives, where they want to focus, where they might want to set a goal, and they are having difficulty deciding. So decisional balance at its essence is weighing the pros and cons. It goes in a little bit more through the use of it, but that's the core of it. And self-efficacy is all about the client's beliefs in their abilities. And it's usually based on something that they are going to do in the future and how well they believe, because of something they did in the past, they can either do it or can't do it. And us as health coaches, one of our jobs is to help build self-efficacy. And that's through guiding them. Again, they're making the decision, but as Deb was sharing her example, making sure that the goal is realistic, so that the more short, small goals that they can complete successfully, the more self-efficacy they build. The last topic we wanted to share as what is a health coach tool is make sure you knew about is the Transtheoretical Model. And that's the one we'll talk a little bit more about. And the Transtheoretical Model is used to help to determine what stage our clients of readiness to change our clients are in. So we'll go a little bit more into this. The Transtheoretical Model was developed by Dr. James Prokoshka after studying 1,000 smokers and ex-smokers for 2 years in the Department of Psychology at the University of Rhode Island. And after the 2 years of research, he essentially determined that change is a process, which we already know. But what he determined was the different stages. So when we start out, typically, clients might start out in what they call pre-contemplation. And pre-contemplation is basically, they're not even thinking about stopping smoking, losing weight, starting mindfulness, whatever it is that probably could help them with whatever situation. They don't even realize it's something they need to do. So when you're working with your clients, as I'm talking about these, I want you to think about your clients, because understanding where they are in the stages will help you to move them to the next stage that moves them closer to actually doing something. So the first stage is pre-contemplation. The next one is contemplation. This is where they're thinking about it. They're like, something has sparked them. And that's usually things that a coach has said or done that just gives them an interest in maybe starting to think about making a change or doing something more healthy for themselves. The next one is preparation. Now they become more action oriented, but they haven't done anything yet. They're just preparing to make a change. The next stage is very, makes sense, action. That's when they actually start to exercise or start to eat differently or start to do whatever it is, they set their mind to, whether it's meditating for 5 minutes. And then maintenance is when they have done it for over 6 months. They're ready to just make it part of their lifestyle. But you hopefully will notice that the arrows go back and forth, because our clients will go back and forth in the stages. And depending on what's going on in their lives, as their fitness professional mentor having a health coaching mindset, you might notice something's going on and help them to stay on their path. So I wanted you to actually take a moment, and Dan's going to help us, let us know if anybody puts any notes in there. But I wanted you to take a moment, as I mentioned earlier, think about what clients you have and perhaps some goal the client talked about. So they could be in contemplation. And if you've noticed anyone moving from contemplation to preparation or preparation to action, now you might not have labeled it or knew the label, but have you noticed anything going on in your world that anyone wanted to share, Dan, that now they understand, oh, that's what's happening. They went from contemplation to preparation to action or what have you. I'll give you an example. Like my husband and I actually use it now all the time. Now that I talked to him about all of this health coaching stuff along our journey. And we were going to do something around the house, and he's like, are you ready to do it? I'm like, I'm still in contemplation on that, and just kind of joke around with it. But you can use it in your own lives as well. It's actually very healthy to understand where you are and understand what you need to get to the next one. So I'm going to pause with some silence to see if anybody has any messages. I cannot see the text, unfortunately, or chat.
Yeah, not yet specific to that. Linda did make a comment. This is such a missing element, mindset coaching. Thankful for your expertise. Let's see, somebody just put in the Q&A. Oh, Bianca's asking, can you explain a little on preparation? Like, what, I think that is kind of a big, broad phase that sometimes people hang out in for quite a while, right? Like, oh man, I'm preparing to start an exercise program, and they can be there for quite a while. In fact, I wonder sometimes, I signed up a gal this morning, and I sort of felt like, I don't know if she's even done the preparation, because tomorrow she's going to come in and start training with us. And it just sort of felt like I wasn't trying to hard sell her or anything, right? I just was like, is this something you think you want to do? And she just seemed real hesitant, like, well, I guess I need to do something, and she does, right? And so sometimes I wonder if people don't really take the time and, they go from contemplating to, well, I guess I'll sign up, right? So maybe you could explain a little bit about the preparation stage.
Well, actually, signing up is preparation, because they're not actually taking any action. It might sound counterintuitive.
Yeah, that's true.
It might sound like action is signing up, but like one of the examples we use is one of our clients was having some kind of gosh, I can't think of the situation now, but he had to go see, he didn't know his numbers. He didn't know his blood pressure. He didn't know anything. He hadn't been to the doctor for years. So, in our conversations, we talked about how important it is to know your numbers. And so he was like, I'll think about it. I'm not sure. That was his contemplation. Then later he said, okay, I made an appointment for the doctor. That's preparation, because he could cancel that appointment at any time. He's
Right.
like, I made the appointment. So I'm like, okay, we moved from contemplation to preparation. Excellent. And then he's like, yeah, and I'm going to read a little bit, even though it sounds like action. You know, he didn't read. He's like, I'm going to plan to read. I got some articles, but he didn't do it yet. It's when they actually take an action, like doing the physical exercise or going to the actual doctor, or actually eating, you know, the fruit that they said they eat. That's the action phase. And then they need to kind of stay in the action phase for about 6 months. And that leads us to believe that they then move into maintenance, because it becomes something that's common, that they're doing all the time. And yes, they will, due to life's events and things like that, might go back and forth.
Yeah. And I think people sometimes jump in and take action, and then we wonder why 5 sessions later they stopped, or, you know, quit or canceled, or, you know, whatever it happens to be. And some of that could even be our own undoing, because we allow people to buy 5 sessions and not buy 20 or 30, so they never get to maintenance, you know. So but I think this model is something we underestimate the power of this, and we're all doing this for different health behaviors and, you know, choices in life and things like that. But, you know, someone might not really be contemplating a fitness program, and then all of a sudden, boom, our marketing thing pops in front of them, and now all of a sudden they're contemplating it, and they go, oh, this looks like something I might try. And all of a sudden they take that action and they show up for session 1, and they're like, what am I doing here? Why did I make this decision? You know, and then the trainer feels rejected, right? And I'm like, I don't know that they're rejecting you. They might not have just been ready, right?
Right. And then maybe they didn't do enough preparation. They didn't do enough research. They didn't understand completely what the program was about. And that's the part that ensuring that they're prepared is as important as getting them to action. So that's a good. All right. Well, thanks for that dialogue. All right, we'll keep moving on. I'm going to actually move past that. All right.
Jerry actually shares in the Q&A. I'm actually going through this myself. I'm in the process of possibly changing careers. So.
Oh my God, Jerry, yes, I was there. I was there a few years ago. It's not an easy step, but if you take enough time to make sure that you're ready and you do it right, it is very fulfilling to change careers. All right, so we're going to move on just to our next process. Thanks for the dialogue on breathing.
Yeah, mindfulness. But I think Dan is really onto something with that, about how people just sign up for sessions, but with a health coaching mindset and knowing to ask that person the right questions to kind of really get them mentally prepared, and, you know, and then let that help them, you know, get those goals going. It is definitely an effective tool for sure. So we're going to just shift into a resource for us as trainers, coaches, guidance directors, fitness professional, to help instill some more of these health coaching mindsets. As Liz has mentioned, and we all know, it's so important to be fully present when you are with your clients. And that doesn't just mean eye contact. I mean, you really have to have your brain, your ears, everything in tune. Being able to be in the moment and fully listen is really a critical skill. That's not, you know, it's not, we're not born with it. It is something that can develop, and skills can help us get there. Like I said, well, it may seem obvious, especially in this new virtual setting. I mean, we had some problems getting technology going today. There's always glitches. If you're in a gym setting and the sphygmometer is not working, or you do a prick for a diet for sugar count and something happens to the strip, or you're, you know, it's so important to, while using technology, using our devices, you know, that we put it aside. We put it aside and fully prepare with each client interaction. Of course, mistakes happen, but let's try to be fully present. We want to address all of these issues in advance. Now, to fully focus on our client, active listening is a critical skill. Observing body language also provides us with the most information on how we're going to best guide that client for today. This allows us to truly hear what the client is saying and allow them to then reflect. And we provide follow-up, open-ended questions, encouraging this reflection, going back to the Transtheoretical Model, moving them from contemplation, pre-contemplation to contemplation, ultimately action, and how we can steer them to do this. We might get a little help with this natural tranquilizer.
All right. So as Deb said, this is something for you, and you can actually share it with your clients as well. And if you're not familiar with this breathing technique, it was designed by Dr. Andrew Weil. He's the doctor with a big bushy black and white beard, and I use this twice a day. It's a technique that helps to calm yourself, to if done over a long period of time, couple of months, twice a day. His research has found people have lowered their blood pressure naturally, no pills, lowered their heart rates, improved their digestive issues, improved anxiety, all different wonderful things just by the power of breathing. And I know there's been some wonderful sessions through FAI about the power of the breath, but this particular one is called the 4-7-8, and it basically references the amount of breathing. You're going to breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and breathe out for 8 counts. Now, the timing is very specific based on the doctor's research, and it's, when I say the timing, it's the counts, the segments. You can use whatever amount of time. So I might count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, or someone else might count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold. So it's very individualized as long as you have the different segments. So I thought we could all do it together just a couple of times. So if everyone's, obviously I can't see you, but if everyone's open to it, we're just going to assume that you're doing it with us. And so I welcome you to relax, just kind of, move your body around. If you want to stand up for a minute, if you haven't been, been sitting for a while, I welcome you to do that. And just gently breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out through your mouth with a loud, powerful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just do that one more time. Breathe in through your nose, count to yourself. Hold. And breathe out through your mouth for 8.
Ah.
So you would do that 4 times. That's kind of his regimen. You do that 4 times in this setting. And twice a day is recommended. The recommendation, or what I should say is what he's found is if it's done over the course of 2 months, that's where he's seen his patients seen reduction in heart rate and blood pressure and all those wonderful things. So we gift this to you. We hope that you will use it, and you can use it anytime. You don't have to have your eyes closed. It's not meditation. You can do it in the car if you're stressed during traffic, whatever it is. It's just a wonderful topic. So we're going to move on to our last topic.
Oh, those wonderful physiological components to aging. Now, to quote one Charles H. Towns, an American physicist, he's responsible for the development of the use of radio frequency waves. As you can see, we can't avoid age. However, we can avoid some aging, continue to do things, be active. Life is fantastic in the way it adjusts to demands. If you use your muscles and mind, they stay there much longer. So with that in mind, we move on to some of those specific physiological components to aging, which most of us are familiar with. We have sarcopenia, which is a bone loss. We have the menopause surge, which affects all of us. We also have a bone, well, it's a bone loss, but it's really changes in the tissue of the bone. It's a little well, we won't get into the science so much, but we have an impact on metabolism, an inevitable change in posture, and an increased risk of falling. So today we're just going to focus on some of the science behind the menopause surge. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a topic for all of us. Note the men in menopause, where everyone has mothers, partners, spouses, sisters, clients that are going through it. In that middle-aged demographic, 50 to 70 plus, and a little bit of knowledge goes a long way in trying to support and guide our clients. The common condition of hot flashes. I always refer to them as power surges, but they typically occur in women. Some men do experience them as well in 50 plus years, and they can last the duration. There isn't really an ending point for some. And it's the result of a decrease in estrogen production. Now this throws the body's thermostat off and it becomes more sensitive to subtle changes in body temperature. The body temperature changes can be triggered by things like drinking or eating caffeinated foods, drinking red wine, and even increases in activity. It's extremely uncomfortable and inevitably detracts from so many things, from exercise sessions to social engagements to business meetings. As trainers, being supportive, encouraging, and adjusting routines and even additional water available with rest intervals can really help maintain participation in exercise. Now, we've also heard about mood swings, and some that can be severe enough to affect their behavior. You know, you'll hear statements like, I felt like punching a wall, I wanted to break a glass. You know, they can be, a gentle person can become even a little bit violent in nature, not in real life. It's not clear as to what causes them, but science does point to the decrease in estrogen, that it affects certain brain functions. Besides hormone therapy, of which many are not candidates, or they simply decline taking them, participation in aerobic exercise is recommended by the National Institution on Health as the panacea for these moments. The reduction in estrogen also affects our basal metabolic rate. It compromises the body's ability to convert all the energy stored in the muscle tissue into use for activity. And again, for our purposes, we just want to increase awareness of how this is a physiological change that is not a choice. Two things happen with this decrease in basal metabolic rate. Of course, weight gain could be a result. Clients are less likely to exercise because of the reduction in energy. And the rate at which we do use energy declines. So we have to be so encouraging and supportive. We want to motivate that client to really stay with it, try to increase the amount, whether we use the FIT principle, increase the time, increase the intensity, switch activities, etc. Will really be helpful. We want to keep them in their health coaching goals. And so from the health coaching tools that we've mentioned, use of the DISC model, we can lead everyone going through these physiological changes to keep their muscle and their mind active. We want them to participate in their exercise routines, eat healthy foods, letting go of stress, use the natural tranquilizer of breath, and then hopefully move forward and continue happy existence.
Thank you, Deb. Well, that was a lot of information. And we're super glad you joined our session today. The quick overview, we covered how to have a health coaching mindset, from asking open-ended questions, listening more intently, and being an accountability partner. We talked about some of the health coach tools and dug in a little bit into the Transtheoretical Model. And of course, just shared the power of the breath and ended with the focus on physiological impacts on fitness with the specific one of menopause. As a close the session, we wanted to do a quick review of the design of the course. Now, I'm going to share that I am in my moment of riding the aging wave, as my 90-year-old mom is having a slight situation that I need to hop off pretty quickly. So I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to leave Deb to answer questions. So I apologize for that, but I just wanted to let you all know that, you know, it happens to everybody, and we all have to deal with what we have to deal with. But I wanted to say thank you for joining. The course is 3 parts. Part 1 is the general section, and that's where we dive much more into all the things about health coaching, all the wonderful things that are available. We dive much more into the DISC model, so you get a better understanding of that, and a lot more into the Transtheoretical Model. So this course is available now, and we hope that you will take a chance on us and take a look at it. We are working in progress on our second section, which is the more of the emotional things, focusing on parenting, including parenting parents, which is what I'm doing, more in menopause, retirement, even death and funeral planning, all the things that go into life and how we can help our clients through a health coaching mindset navigate. And then the third section is a little bit more on the physical, on nutrition and physiological changes, as Deb was talking about, injury prevention and balance. You're not required to take 2 and 3. You can take part 1, and then when 2 and 3 are out, you can check them out. But hopefully you'll get so much from part 1 that you'll want hear more from us on a health coaching mindset on the others. Part 1, again, is available now, and I know Dan will be sure to let you know more about that. You will get 3 CEUs to most of the common organizations that you'll need, and that's it. This is how you can reach us. I did breeze through that, so if you have any questions, please let us know. We are offering a 15% off today using the promo code WAVE, W-A-V-E. And again, I thank you so much. We open it up to questions. We'll bring Dan back. I am so sorry to have to leave. Really nice to be here, Dan. Deb,
good luck with mom. Good luck with mom, Liz.
Yeah, she's going to be all right. Just a little something that I got to take care of. Unfortunately, a very uncoordinated time for this. But Dan, thank you again for your time and your leadership with FAI. And
yeah, thanks for being here, Liz.
And open up the questions, and away
all right.
you go.
We'll start funneling them at you here, Deborah. Can you put the email address slide up again, Liz?
Yeah, I will do that, and I'll leave my slide. I'll leave this open.
Yeah, that's great. You can leave it there. I'll get people the coupon code.
I'm just not even going to sign out. You'll sign me out when I leave.
All right, sounds good.
I'm so sorry.
Bye, Liz.
All right, I'm going to stop Liz's video. So, okay, there's the email. So email them. There was a question, Deborah. Are either you or Liz health coaching certified, and from which organization? I think I mentioned that in Liz's.
Yes, Liz is a certified health coach. She did the American Council on Exercise certification, which I have taken ACE's course on health coaching, but it is not accredited. She is through Tufts University. Okay. She took a certification course, and I believe actually she has been a practicing health coach though for a number of years, and there's a lot going on medically with that role. It is a fairly new direction because again, we are not therapists. You don't function as a therapist, but yet a lot of the tools come from the schools of psychology, etc. So they are now just beginning to have more certifying accredited courses for health coaches. So Liz and I coupled our being as long in this industry as I have been working as a personal trainer exclusively since 1998, etc. Liz and I kind of collaborated just through conversation, and then all of a sudden had this idea, and here we are. So.
Several people thanking you for this webinar. Heidi says, I could have used this as a new mother.
Right.
Janelle Janelle, kind of a hard comment. Janelle says, as you are presenting, I received an update on my sister's health. She was given and accepted hormone therapy when she was 60. She's 67 now. The estrogen caused breast cancer and has now moved into her brain. As of this morning, hospice was recommended. I'm sorry,
Oh,
so sorry for your news, Janelle. She says, please keep doing what you are doing, encouraging people to exercise. Linda, thank you for your time. Allie, thank you. Let's jump over to the Q&A here. Debbie says, great job, ladies. Can you share with the group how you deal with client confidentiality, especially when you're using texting, emailing, and I would even add, I guess you got to be even more careful using mass communication, mass group texting, things of that nature.
well, I know I personally, I have a simple waiver that a friend of mine who's a lawyer just had. It's like 3 sentences that just says, you know, you're putting yourself at risk, letting me, you always ask if you're allowed to, you know, put anything on social media. There is, again, there's no real guidelines available to protect, like encrypting emails or, you know, so I would say if anyone has an inkling of an issue about it, I then use telephone or, you know, I have some clients that will not communicate over the computer.
Sure.
We do it over the telephone.
Yeah,
I
sure.
really can't answer that question. I don't know that it exists. I don't know that we have ways to protect the confidentiality agreement. And again, because it's only beginning to make headway into the medical community. I have a pulmonary condition and my pulmonologist said, Deborah, I wish that my community would support using exercise as a prescription. Moving is the best thing you can do for your lungs, hydrating and staying away from sick people. I mean, that's really how I can manage but anyway, so my point is there's no, I would say you have to feel out your client and act accordingly.
Yeah. Jerry is asking, any idea when parts 2 and 3 will be released?
Well, we're hoping to release part 2. It's in the works, and we were hoping by November-ish for part 2, and then part 3 finishing up early in 2022.
Okay. David asks, my biggest question is how to motivate people to action on their fitness optimal nutrition journey.
Well, so there again, going back to the asking open-ended questions, like I did a quick example of someone saying, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds, but my daughter's wedding in 6 months. But really diving into maybe trying to steer them, you know, why maybe they don't have such good nutrition habits, you know, finding out their preferences, their likes and dislikes, determining if there's an emotional component to that. In the course, we do provide some links for if you feel like it's beginning to get out of your scope of practice as a trainer or health coach, and you're seeing some real issues in a psychological sense. We try to steer them to the professionals, but asking those open-ended questions and really getting them, I mean, we always use the metaphor of an onion and peeling back the skin layer after layer. It's amazing what eventually people reveal. And then you can take what they reveal and steer, you know, and try to move them towards action and ultimately the maintenance.
Yeah, I would add to that, David. I think those of us in the fitness, wellness, and health world, we sometimes make the assumption that people want fitness, or you put optimal nutrition. We sometimes think people want those things, and I'm not so convinced that people want those things. I think they want the outcomes from those things, right? They want the benefits and the features, but they don't necessarily want fitness. And so it can be hard to motivate someone to something they don't even want or know they want, right? And so sometimes, like Deborah said, we have to peel back the onion and we find out, oh, you want to do this, or you want to be able to do that, or you want to have this functional ability, which is a fitness quality, right? So when we figure out what it is they actually want, then maybe we can match our fitness program up to that. But I think too often I see people make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, people want to be healthy. I'm like, I don't know that that's what they really want, or that they want to eat healthy, or they want fitness. They want what it gives them. They want the outcome, the result, right? But they don't necessarily, like, people aren't just excited to go sign up for a personal training program or
or they want what someone wants for them, you know, a spouse, a partner, a doctor saying, oh, you should really, you know, you just have to start to exercising. Oh, my doctor told me to exercise, you know, but then finding out that they need to be steered.
Yeah, right. Any discussion in part one, Deborah, about pricing and sales? Do you guys go over, you know, pricing for health coaching and how people should approach that?
No, we do not.
Okay.
I think it varies. I mean, even if you look at, you know, in our training publications, you know, the range is, you know what I mean? You have to see annual salary from $36,000 to $140,000.
Sure.
And I think areas, and again, right now it is not covered under insurances, health coaching.
Right.
But there are new companies, I don't know if you've heard of Hinge Health, but there are now virtual physical therapy operations and health insurance companies that partner every patient, customer, with a health coach and a physical therapist or personal trainer. So it's all done virtual. So it's beginning to get into the mainstream, and I think time will tell, you know, that it'll become something where you can have a set salary, et cetera.
Yeah.
But it's a consult, you know, you're acting as a consultant. I mean, I know I charge the same as my personal training services.
Right. No, absolutely. Okay. Well, that's something we'll look for.
That helps.
Something we'll look for in part two. So, all right, if you're on the recording and you're like, oh, they didn't answer my question or ask my question, you've got their emails.
Please email.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
email them.
They
gave you their email, so that's on them. If they want to be emailed, email them. So you can also email us, contact@functionalaginginstitute.com. If you can't find the replay link, which would be weird since you're watching the recording that you can't find the replay link. But if you're on live right now, we're going to send the replay link out in about an hour or two, as well as the coupon code, which is all caps. All our coupon codes are always all caps, so don't tell us it doesn't work. All caps, WAVE, W-A-V-E, you'll save 15%. So the course is available. We've had people asking that too. Is the course available? Yes, it's available. If you go to our website, functionalaginginstitute.com, click on courses, you'll find the health coaching course, Riding the Aging Wave, and we'll send you the link for that as well. So I'll go ahead and put it in the chat because I got it here handy, I believe. I don't see any other questions, Deborah, so we will.
You guys, thank you so much for taking the time, and here's to health and fitness.
Yeah, we will look for your session at the summit where people can learn more from both of you again, and certainly excited.
Maybe next year we could be live.
I sure hope. Yeah, that's the plan. Denver, June of 2022. That's our plan.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the link to your course in the chat here, so everyone on live has it. And then people in the recording, you got it emailed to you, so you have it. So definitely do check it out. It is 3 CEUs, and with the coupon offer this week, it's a nice deal. So I would definitely take advantage of that. Let me post this in the chat here for everyone. Sometimes I post these links and only the other speaker can see it. So everyone, everyone in here live, we had over 70 on live today, so that was a good crowd. Again, if you're on the recording, email them. Check out the web page and take advantage of that coupon. So Deborah, tell Liz thanks. I hope
I will. Thank you, Dan. Thanks so much for your guidance.
Mom goes smooth. So
I just got a text. My brother's in the ER. So.
Oh, jeez. Right. Yeah. Who better to ride the aging wave than you and Liz? So her mom, your brother. So
yeah.
All right. Well, have a great day, everyone.
Okay, yes. Good day, everyone. Good week. Bye.
Bye-bye.